I was told all season that this Washington team was a change franchise. With the boogeyman owner gone, a new coach and quarterback had brought bluer skies. But on Sunday, not only did I see the burgundy and gold, but dare I say, I also saw the redacted mascot of old. Because this Washington team still stinks like the teams of the past. Nothing but mid, as the visiting Cowboys got the dub and took out the trash. Ooh. So, Justin, I feel like I don't need an intro anymore because I feel like you've been waiting for this type of result kind of all season since we didn't get it last week or the week before. So let me just say, Justin, the floor is yours. Talking about Commanders being mid, and then maybe even we can go into getting a dub and tossing aside this so-called draft order that's been floating around.
I've been preaching this all season. The fluky Mickey Mouse wins, that Mickey Mouse record. I've been saying from the start that Commanders team's so garbage, bro. But Dan Quinn somehow got his PR. You know how he apparently righted his wrongs, and everyone just forgot what he did to the Cowboys defense come the end of last season. I swear we've been seeing that all from the Commanders all of this season, but they've been able to squeak out wins here and there. Had a last place schedule, so some of the opponents that they played has been even stinkier. But the fact that the Cowboys went out and did this with Cooper Rush at the helm and not doing a damn thing, boy, it would have been even scarier had Travion Diggs played too, quite honestly. We know how he does to that dude Terry. So I think this was a long time coming. I think this is the beginning of the end. The Commanders, you can mark it right here. They ain't making the playoffs. They ain't even sniffing the playoffs come season in.
I mean, it'd be tough to get a wild card spot knowing that the NFC North and some other it's going to be tough for them to get into the playoffs if that's the case, if they don't win the division. I will say I don't think the issues offensively have anything to do with Dan Quinn. To be honest, we talked about Cliff Kingsbury's offense falling off a cliff, and I think we've seen the beginning of that. And to be fair, on the other end, I think Mike Zimmer's defense is finally gelling. And so between the combination of the two, whichever you want to blame more, you want to blame Cliff Kingsbury or give credit to Mike Zimmer. I mean, it was lights out for Washington's offense for 90% of the game until the final two drives of it. So, they couldn't really get much going.
As a great man once said, they are who we thought they were. But this time we didn't let them off the hook. We put them to the sword, fortunately.
Their own kicker put them to the sword.
I disagree. But
we forced the issue to the point where we put them under the gun to make a mistake.
I don't know. Missed extra point and two missed extra points and a missed field goal. Was it? He wasn't serious. He was not serious.
Well, neither is that team in Washington, D.C., because that record is generous to them, even as Justin said, with the last place schedule. But with a lot of talking points coming out of it on the Cowboys side is everyone's like, oh, I like the fight we saw there. That was a nice fight from the Cowboys organization or the Cowboys team and players as a whole, blah, blah, blah. And while I do agree with that, the main question is, was that more of just a factor of, hey, we know some of these players. We kind of heard what they've been saying. DQ, I know Micah Parsons probably took that, not personal, but it's kind of one of those things where brother versus brother creates like a fierce rivalry type thing. You know this guy for about 2 years. You know Dorrance Armstrong and all those guys, Noah Brown that were on the team. So is this something that the Cowboys players took extra personal? Because we saw a fight from CD Lamb as well, somebody that I've been critical of with his body language, but they all seemed 100% into the fight. Hopefully it's not the only time we see it the rest of the season. So I guess what I'm asking is this sustainable? Is this something they'll carry on no matter who the opponent is, or is this kind of a one-off thing?
I think it could be sustainable. I just think that Rudy alluded to this earlier. I think that the personnel is finally coming back to form as far as the defense in the health department. I mean, Bland obviously played. You didn't have a linebacker missing for once. Micah's back. I think even Marshawn Nealon came back and played this week. So I mean, I think it's a matter of like, look, offense is probably has a wide receiver problem. We know about no quarterback. We know about the play caller. I think this is what the defense was probably going to be we're going to see what the defense was supposed to be at full health, so to speak, come Thursday, and that it's going to be like a pretty good unit, like what it was built to be at the beginning of the year. So I think because of that, you're going to be in a lot of these games, and like Cooper Rush is not good, but Cooper Rush is good enough that if he just protects the football, you're going to win some games, quite honestly, just because of this defense.
Well, we won that game with him still throwing a pick and can't connect with a handoff to Zeke. Luckily, we fell on that. I mean, we were still sloppy on the other end of the ball. But yeah, I mean, I think having Micah is really the biggest thing too, because I mean, the way that Zimmer moved him into like a defensive tackle position, he's attacking the B gap. He's moving him around. I liked what Chauncey Golston brought as well. I'm pretty impressed, and he finally moved Donovan Wilson out of some tricky pass defense situations and sticks to more of his strengths. And so knowing that, hopefully he's learned his lesson on some of our weaknesses and now knows how our offense should go, I can see it being carried forward. Now, I still need to see, more success before we talk about extensions for Mike Zimmer. But as far as what he did on Sunday, I mean, that was really nice, honestly.
Yeah, let me say too that these leaders, CeeDee Lamb and Micah Parsons, they've been saying the right thing basically every post game interview lately. So I think it also is sustainable. But Rudy and Justin, actually, first of all, I need to make an acknowledgement and apologize to Micah Parsons, because I was beating the drum that maybe we should look to trade him and maybe get some picks back and blah, 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 blah. Yeah, I was wrong. That man can definitely stay, because we just see how different this defense is and kind of this team in general when he's healthy and wrecking havoc. And we have a defensive coordinator not named Dan Quinn looking to use him, which brings to my second point, which is Mike Zimmer. At the very least, I think he deserves a automatic interview with the new coaching staff that comes in, hopefully. A little bit of talk about McCarthy staying.
Hey, bro, Jerry. He's not serious, bro. Come on.
But not to get too distracted on McCarthy. I think Zimmer and what we're seeing with him working with the team longer than a month and having all of his weapons back, it's nice to see, and that he can employ a pretty impactful defense altogether. Also, I just want to give a quick shout out to Josh Butler. Just it's nice to see somebody not named Overshown or Parsons that steps up. Rudy did mention Mr. TAMU, a whoop. But Josh Butler, man, nice play. And Cowboys once again scouting the minor leagues in football, so to say. Let's look at the offense. Fellas, who stepped up on the offensive side of the ball? We got a couple of candidates. The O-line, the makeshift O-line that played, the tight ends once again, and of course Turpin. Who else?
I'm glad you said that about the O-line, because, all right, maybe I'm putting the cart before the horse, but the injury report, Martin probably on it again, probably won't play again Thursday, but I'm low-key rooting for him not to play, because if the talk of the town is true that he probably hanging it up after this year, I do want to see what these young guys got in Bass and Hoffman. I mean, I don't think, who knows if they're going to be like, solid NFL starters, but I think now is the time to give these young cats a go, because I feel like Zach Martin's been so bad this year. Say what you want, whether it be due to injury or the W word, but I mean, if this team apparently thinks that they still have playoff aspirations, so I would like to see the best five go out there, and I don't think right now, whether it be health or other reasons that Martin is part of your best five of how he's been playing of late, quite honestly.
Yeah, completely agree. The offensive line, save for Tyler Guyton, was very nice to see. Tyler Guyton, my God, he got benched for all his penalties, illegal formations and false starts. He was benched, and then Asim Richards gets hurt, so he comes back in. Do you know, is Asim out for Thursday?
I think he's questionable.
I think he's also it's a not game time decision. I think it's going to be something to progress or to keep an eye out on as the week progresses.
Okay. Well, yeah, I mean,
Probably
like
not.
Hoffman and Bass played well. I need BB to lower that snap a little bit. Is this like the third week in a row he hasn't connected with Cooper Rush on a snap?
Well, this week was his fault. I don't know about the Houston
I thought
one.
against the Texans it was high as well.
I think he just dropped it, but
it's possible. I will say though, like the way that they were blocking was really like they opened up some holes for Rico. So being able to run a bit, establish some nice play action, and can roll out and hit Schoon, or we're hitting Span Ford, who again I've hated in the past, but you're right, he stepped up this game again. So yeah, no, being able to run the ball has definitely opened up more of the offense, made it more effective. So yeah, I mean, like come Thursday, I don't expect the Giants to be able to stop it so long as we keep our best guards in the game. If Zach Martin comes back in, yeah,
he better be at 100%. He better
even at 100%. I don't think he wasn't great.
I don't think he's the W word. I just think he's like on his last. The man's injury percentage bar is like damn near 100%, and I think it was at 90.
He isn't washed. Like, what have you seen this year?
Huh?
What have you seen this year that
I think it's given it's given grace and respect for a career.
Yeah, but it's also, I think they said like that man's back, or I don't know what they were saying like specifically, but that dude had like 5 injuries going into the Texans game. So that's why I'm saying he's probably not washed, but also at the same time, his body may be breaking down after 11 seasons of football. So kind of the Tyron Smith, decline that we saw, just the body breaking down. But I don't want to really talk too much about it because I don't really know the specifics.
Even outside of that Texans game, he hasn't been great. And
again, I would just say that's the accumulation of injuries.
Yeah, I guess, but I mean, look.
But I do want to see the young guys play.
Yeah. I think the young guys performed very well against an honestly solid Washington defensive line, and I think that they were getting to the second level on run blocks. So I definitely prefer to just see as many of the youth again, except for Tyler Guyton, if possible. But yeah.
Well, my only caveat to that is, do we think? I mean, I think we need more of a sample size to alliterate one way or the other, as far as whether or not they're like an increased improvement. But do we think it's a matter of, well, we know Dan Quinn's MO when it comes to that run defense? Do you think it's more of that, or do you think it's that they're actually somewhat okay and maybe they have something there?
No, I need to see them stack weeks, first of all, but also Washington's run defense. Yeah, it is a Dan Quinn MO because I don't think they were that good of a run defense to begin, and I don't think they were good overall defense in general. So maybe that says a lot too about how bad Cooper Rush is, that he could barely put up 10 points with them. So yeah, I do want to see more reps from them. So yeah, keep Zach Martin out, and let's see how this young O-line functions and see where these guys stack up, because like we've been saying week after week after week, it's all about filling roster spots to end the season. So yeah, let me see you stack weeks on it.
Yeah, I mean, look, I said the same with the defense. I need to see Mike Zimmer stack some weeks with that too. You mentioned Dan Quinn. The thing too is Dan Quinn knows what Mike likes to do, and so he would have a game plan on the kind of run schemes that he would encounter against Mike's offense. So like as much as Dan Quinn, or as much as our O-line may have a heads up on Dan Quinn, Dan's got the heads up on us as well. And I think in those trenches, to me, it's just man on man. It, of course, there are more schematic things going on there as well, but it's hat on a hat. And I just felt like we were more physically intimidating, bully style ball. And so well, you mentioned giving credit to the O line. I give them a ton of credit because it's, to me, a marked improvement over what we've seen in past weeks. So yeah, of course, I want to see more of it. Before I say these guys are studs or anything like that, but they're better than what we had earlier this season.
Because, and before you go, Ian, like I think, obviously a lot of the talk of Sunday was about in regards to the pick and how it's going to turn out, XYZ, blah, 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 blah. I guess what I'm going with this isn't necessarily about the order of the pick. It's more so of, look, if you get these young guys to get some more PT because of injury and you get a little bit more, I know they've played in the past actual games that have mattered. And I mean, there's a reason why one of them didn't win the starting center job. There's a reason why. But I think if they can get some sort of development within these next couple of weeks, if both guards are going to be out an extended period of time, like it sounds like Zach Martin will be, maybe that can deter you from having to spend that first round pick on another O lineman. And maybe this can prove to the front office that, hey, maybe we can develop other O linemen in other rounds. Same thing with Austin Richards. Maybe we can develop O linemen in other rounds beyond just having to, oh my gosh, the O line sucks. We have to spend another first round pick on an O lineman.
Yeah, I don't know. We've outside of Tyler Guyton, we've had pretty good success in drafting O linemen.
No need to no more first round O linemen. Like there's too many. Like I get like people like you know how people always talk about like, oh, you don't want to like use your resources on a running back because of blah 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 blah. You don't think that's an excess amount to use all your first round picks on O linemen? And it's in theory you would be trying to right or wrong from last year.
Okay. You told me, I mean, hey, you got to do what you have to do. You told me straight up you want to move Guyton to your right tackle, right? So you still have your left tackle position available. If Austin Richards comes back and he's the guy, then fine, you're right. But I don't see any problem with using a high priority pick on a high priority player. Like we saw the difference a good O-line makes in the mid 2010s. Like literally our offensive line was so damn good. Darren McFadden ran for 1,000 yards behind it. So I don't mind going O-line if that's where the need is.
Yeah, I'll have to disagree because I think you got more warm bodies and potential roster spots filled on the O-line than you do besides at the quarterback position than any other roster spot on the team. So I think you can make do with what you got there, and you should be focused. The most important positions are like kind of safeties or another skill player on the offensive side of the ball, or D lineman or linebacker. But yeah, I don't really want to invest in another O-line. Like I said, I think you got 4, 5, 6 names that are good enough to be NFL starters. Now they're not going to be world beaters, but I think you got more warm bodies right there. And also, the Cowboys are a good development team. It's a lineman development team. So let's get these guys working again. They're still young, so I think that's where the focus should be. Real quick. Turpin, he's 28. I think but back-to-back weeks, he's been the lone bright spot. He doesn't need too much around him to be, very successful. I think he belongs on the roster next year. And we did talk about the Titans, but I'm still not too impressed by them. And then, is anybody getting impressed with Tolbert? He had a touchdown catch this week.
No, bro. No, that wide receiver room needs to be revamped.
Okay.
But I'm cool with re-signing Turpin. Just depends on how much
injury free too. By the way, as long as he doesn't get he doesn't get an injury throughout the rest of the season.
I feel like he's lived up to this billing of what he was brought onto the roster to as a returnman. I mean, outside of forget about that was a great play on Sunday. Like, don't get me wrong. I feel like over the past 2 years, I felt like he's far exceeded expectations as a returner, beyond just scoring that touchdown in Washington. Like, I think he's crafted out a pretty great career. I mean, granted, due to his own billing, so to speak, of why it got off to a bad start, but I do think it should be something that they should invest in the offseason, because I feel like he's really helped these last couple of years, even though maybe the record this year hasn't shown for it.
Oh, I completely agree. I mean, even outside of the kick return this past week against the Texans, he breaks out, one of the best offensive plays we've had all year. I mean, he's one of, if not the fastest player in the NFL. If we can't make use of him, that's on us. That's embarrassing. So yeah, going forward, I would definitely like to see Turpin still a Cowboy.
And in theory, you would hope that the next guy that you hire to be the mind behind the offense has an idea of how to use him. Because, I mean, I know it's college football. It's a completely different game. But he kind of worked at TCU as a receiver. And I can't imagine, like, I know he's really small, and I know it's probably – that has a lot to do with it, but I can't imagine if you have like this, if you get a seasoned OC that has some innovative ideas, I think it would be worth the investment. Like, I think you can get more out of your investment than just paying him to be a returner. I think if you paired him with the right coaching, you could make him a kind of a staple maybe in the offense as a kind of a weapon. Speaking of mid and rights being wronged, or wrongs being rights, even though everybody thought I was crazy that I was ahead, but I think I'm a trendsetter and ahead of the curve. That's a little bit too.
They called you a madman.
Oh, they called me crazy. But we talked about one mid the last segment. Another mid, them Houston Texans, bro. Oh my word! It's a shame that Cooper Rush said he didn't want to expose a fraud, but add them to the list along with the Commanders. AFC Commanders, quite honestly, if you ask me.
Hey, if you want to blame anyone for not exposing mid, hey, the Texans held Joe Mixon to goddamn nothing. Mike Zimmer, the guy we were praising last week, was left with holes in the defense.
Hey, but, the Titans got a good D, though.
They do have a good D. You got to give them some credit here. I mean, when you can have Mayo in the coffee, Will Levis in games, you got a good defense there. Now, one person who Justin was extremely ahead of the curve on, C.J. Stroud.
Hold on.
Go ahead.
I feel like you're selling me. You're throwing me to the wolves right there. I never said that he was bad. I just said that he overinflated.
Okay, that's fine. I mean, that's his stat line. His game was that of a player who is definitely overinflated. If you saw the way that most people bet, they assumed he would have done better. Justin, you were ahead of the curve on that.
I'm telling you, bro. They talk about him like he's that I need to crown him. Talking about he top 5. What do you mean top 5? Like, he can be top 10. That's fine. Like, I don't think he's not top 10. But this dude ain't no he ain't no cut from the same cloth that what we grew up on. That dude ain't nothing special. Like, he nice.
Yeah, he's definitely going through a sophomore slump. But there's a lot of things you guys said there. One, Cooper Rush. Bro, Cooper Rush, you just had to be Will Levis, and you probably would have gotten the dub. But that man's so... No disrespect, but the man's so bad. He's so Garbanzo, you couldn't even be Will Levis, which is... All right, let me forward you guys a couple points, but also let me just make a couple routine throws that my guys can get yak on. And that'll be enough to beat the Texans. But to Rudy's point, too, for some reason the Texans said, yeah, that game plan that worked so well against the Cowboys, let's go as far ways we can from that and not give Joe Mixon any touches. And let's just put it all in C.J. Stroud's hands. And... that man said, basically, anytime Will Levis made a mistake, C.J. Stroud said, yeah, right back at you, brother. I got you. And
anything you can do, I can do better.
Yeah. And
goes ahead. Go ahead, sorry.
I mean, I just don't know. I don't understand this Texans because we did see Turpin kind of can expose. Or, they always do a lapse in judgment on defense, but they had like 3 or 4 lapses that led to Titans points, and I guess that just shows you, bro. They some mid. So there's a lot of talk about CJ Stroud, but bro, let's bury these Texans, please, because they some mid. They ain't doing nothing.
Sadly, our boy Baz Poppin though, he got hurt.
He got hurt too, man. I mean, yeah.
Good old Petrie. It's a shame.
What was it? Was that a shoulder injury?
Yeah.
I feel like that's right up. Yeah, okay. It's kind of you run the risk of pads popping.
I think
it's
gonna
be popping too.
I think it's a partially torn pectoral. So
get that man some old school pads. Enough with this small pad stuff. Petrie, you need to learn.
Hey, you know who did have a good game in that one? Our old man Tony Pollard.
Well,
we ran him out of town when we should have just been running behind him. The man carried the team. He would have won. Ian.
He did not carry the team, bro.
Speak for yourself, Rudy. I ain't going in that camp ever again.
24 carries, 119 in a tutty. I mean, come on. That's how you control the game.
Yeah, not that I was
there was no control in that game. Yeah. Let me tell you, that thing was getting tossed around like a hot potato.
That's how when your quarterback wants to give up. That's how you stand a chance.
Hey, that's neither here nor there. I mean, speaking of chances and opportunities, you don't get these type of opportunities every year, not every year, quite honestly. And Rudy, I know you're a big adamant of the elements. Not a fan, but I'll let you have the floor in regards to what we saw on Thursday.
Oh, man. We were treated to a spectacle on Thursday Night Football as the holiday rolls in. The snow followed suit. We went ahead and saw the Browns and the Steelers in snow flurries, dang near a blizzard. We saw an incredible comeback led by Jameis, no battery in the helmet, Winston. We saw Russell Wilson throw in a dime to keep themselves in the game. It was just beautiful, save for Amazon's decision to throw some fake lines on the field. That was killing me. I know, Ian, as a graphic designer, you had to have been disgusted by that. But I just want to say, this is what I know, Justin, as a football purist, I would say, you don't want things ruined by the elements, but to me, for football to be pure, you overcome the elements. It was gorgeous to see. Give me y'all's thoughts on Thursday Night Football.
Well, a couple of things. As a graphic designer, I mean, yeah, it was nice, but for the aesthetic of football, bro, I don't need that on my screen. Please get rid of that. So good job designing, but bad decision production team to include that crap on there because the point is.
Ian, how would you know where you're on in the field? How would you know?
Boy, some other players know, so the audience can figure it out too. Damn. Quit acting like whatever. But yeah, Rudy, like as the meme does, absolute cinema was had on Thursday because you got two just old school teams duking it out, and it was still an entertaining game. Beautiful weather, snow, and the reason I fell in love with football was A, the NFL films, but also this idea that B, football is war, and you're just gonna play it in any condition or whatever the battlefield is outside, on the coast, on the East Coast, West Coast, up north, down south. You're playing outdoors and you're playing on a muddy field or grass, and that's why I fell in love with the game. And yeah, as a purist, it was nice to see and watch. So, Justin, go ahead and tell us your reason why it's not
because,
good.
Man, ain't nobody want it. Only people that like that are the people watching it. Nobody that's out there playing wants to be out there. Like, come on. And
oh, please. They were making snow angels after every touchdown play. They were having a ball.
They're making the best of the situation, quite honestly.
Jameis from Florida loved it.
He just played nice, so he probably that had more to do with it than the snow.
He's fraudulent?
No, I'm just saying I doubt
phony.
I doubt he really enjoyed the snow. He's just having a nice little game, and it's a nice win for the Browns, so they probably enjoyed it a little bit more because it was in the snow. But
also, Justin, if we embrace the grass field and stuff thing. We would get rid of the turf tape that we see on players, and I know you hate that. So
Well,
again, another bonus of playing outdoors and in natural elements.
some people probably just want the aesthetics of turf tape. I think Alvin Kamara wears it, even if it is in the grass field. So I can't.
Right.
That's a fight that I can't win. But a fight that I can win. I mean, I guess I can in this case because the Steelers were going to look the same regardless if it was snowing or it was sunshiny days. So it is what it is. Hopefully it actually works to their benefit. Because I can't even say that because all the AFC good teams, a.k.a. KC, they know what to do in the snow too. So it's not like it's going to be some inherent advantage for Pittsburgh later down the road when it does come a factor in the playoffs.
Dude, it was wild because like the second half of that game, as the snow flurries came in, each team decided to pass more. Like I felt like that's like, okay, this one is going to get run heavy. Some people hate the inclement weather because they're like, that ruins the pass game. Like both teams were like, hell no, we're throwing this. We're throwing it for the rest of the night. So it honestly, to me turned out to be the kind of game people in domes that prefer domes. That's the kind of game they want to see, even if it was in the elements, because it was all passing.
Well, those people are losers. So not because they're anti-snow, because I'm anti-snow, but they're losers because way too much focus on the offensive game. And I guess I have to issue an apology because briefly, it's a brief apology. It's not I'm not fully sold.
You're not calling a press conference.
Yeah,
You're just issuing a quick tweet.
It's I gotta fire off a notes app. That's what I gotta do.
There you go.
Hey, Caleb Williams and Bryce Young have turned around their play for a couple of weeks. Not to say that I full on buy it, and I'm not buying this offensive quarterback renaissance, so to speak, that everybody wants to buy into, but I have to give credit where credit's due. They have played a lot better of late. Will it last? I don't think so.
Yeah, you know what? The thing with Bryce Young's performance, it being against the Chiefs really surprised me. Like, we've talked about it all year, that the Chiefs are led by their defense. It's not Mahomes carrying the water, it's Steve Spagnuolo and that defense. And then Bryce Young goes ahead and makes it a game. And did it go to OT or it ends up being...
No, it was a game winner.
Did not go to OT. Game-winning kick or whatever. But, yeah, that very much surprised me. We were talking about whose quarterback are you buying stock. Brother, Bryce Young's stock was useless. You could throw a penny and get 100 stock out of it. But yeah, I gotta apologize a little. Again, there's plenty more football to go, but that impressed me plenty.
Yeah, the Bryce Young stock I wouldn't buy so much. I mean, it was impressive that he did against the Chiefs defense, but I don't know. I'm still hesitant on it, and I wonder how much of it had to do with the run game. I feel like in the highlights I watched that the Carolina Panther run game started clicking, and that maybe freed up some stuff with quarterbacks, and that's when a lot of people get confused as this play action stuff, and people act like the quarterback's doing it all on his own, but it's really just a good complementary offensive game plan. Caleb Williams, though, I mean, I've seen enough from him in college and bits and pieces in the pros that I've been a big believer in him. Not to say, I'm not going to jump the shark and say top 5 quarterback, top 10 quarterback that has plagued a lot of these recent young quarterbacks, but I think he's taking what the defense is giving him, and that's honestly the best thing for him instead of making all these splash plays. But Justin, I think you're looking in the wrong directions bringing up those two teams because, or at least there's a new enemy on the horizon forming in the AFC West. Because yes, as one stock begins to fall with Justin Herbert, who is a way better quarterback prospect in my opinion than Bo Nix. Bo Nix stock is beginning to rise for some reason, even though they're barely 2 games above 500 after beating the stinky Raiders. But I've never been more baffled by praise surrounding this man. And no disrespect, because I know it's tough, but I don't see it every time I watch the highlights of the Denver Bronco games. I'm not impressed by his screen games and yak yardage that somehow gets attributed to him. Lazy narrative pushing, in my opinion.
Well, you know how it goes. Any sort of semblance of winning, it automatically goes to the quarterback.
To the quarterback.
Even since I remember what was that like 09, 08 or whatever, when they told Vince Young, "Hey, bro, you need to take a seat," and they tried out Kerry Collins, and that Titans team won 13 games because Chris Johnson and Lindell White couldn't be stopped, and their defense was stout. They said, "Bro, what's his name? Kerry Collins." They said, "Bro, that's
something like that.
Yeah, that's a winner right there." So we know how this goes. Any little semblance of winning, that quarterback always going to get the prize. So I think the Bo Nix team will take care of itself. I mean, that defense is solid, really good actually, not solid. So they're going to obviously be a playoff team. Also because AFC pretty smelly.
And don't forget, good run game, and then massive target in Cortland Sutton.
No, I'm anti Sutton.
Hating on Cortland.
How are you anti Sutton?
That's that SMU gas that y'all smoking. I'm not.
You think
wait? I gotta hear an actual reason.
I just don't think he's a number one receiver. That's okay. He's a solid receiver. Don't get me wrong.
I
disagree.
think he's a massive target that you can. He doesn't even need to run the greatest route. Just throw it in his direction. He's gonna get the ball.
I think the days of daily fantasy and fantasy football have made Cortland Sutton infatuated with many minds because of what he can do.
So
I don't think anyone holds him in high regard when it comes to fantasy, to be honest.
Yeah, I'd be surprised if that's true. Because to me, he is a wide receiver of the old of, I'm not the crispest pass catcher, I'm not the crispest route runner, but if you throw the rock around me, I'll get you a highlight play.
Man, I wish he was one of those.
That's the type of receiver I enjoy
Dude,
watching.
when Russell Wilson at the end of last season was like, you know what? I should just be throwing it up in the air to you. Touchdown. And Bo Nix, it's either a screen or it's, hey, Cortland, go make a play up there. And Cortland does.
Not my cup of tea. I like me a big physical receiver, but he ain't my type of physical receiver. That's for sure.
You got some bias going on with his college.
That's not true. But he's a solid player. He like my man in LA, Puka. Ain't nobody. Remember when I was talking about a couple of weeks ago? I like Puka. He a nice player, but like ain't nothing like I'm like, damn, I gotta go watch Puka Nacua play because that's box office. Same thing with Cortland Sutton. Nice player, but ain't nothing special about him. I mean,
Puka might be one of the guys who daily fantasy people are infatuated with, but I think Cortland's a completely different kind of receiver.
Two sides of the same coin. Okay. Two different types of infatuation. But
anyway, regardless, I think it's something that makes Bo Nix look better when he throws it downfield. I mean, compared to the only other thing he does is screens.
Hey man, the Bo Nix fight may not happen this year. It's okay, but that man kind of old, so he still got a bunch of football ahead of him. But regardless of the fact, I think it's gonna take care of itself. It's not like he's gonna be like. Let's just say I don't think his ceiling is very high.
Famous last words.
Hey, bro. Remember,
he's got the Sean Payton shield that will kind of maybe even make him see daylight for a couple of seasons. Because Sean Payton, as much as I dislike that man, I think he's doing something with that quarterback over there. Or offensive game plan wise and whatnot. He's got stuff clicking.
Hey, remember the theme of this podcast.
Push some narratives because he's good at that too.
Well, remember the theme of this podcast. Things that are once been labeled me as a madman are starting to come into fruition. So who's to say that this can't be added to the list? But you might be right. Who knows? There's a lot of ball left to play. It would just be a crime if Brock Bowers doesn't win Offensive Rookie of the Year, in my opinion.
Yeah, not a bad crime, but mediocre crime.
If Caleb performs well for
like
weeks, I know what you're saying, but I'm telling you, I know how they vote as well. They'll give it to the quarterback for a solid season over a fantastic position player.
No, absolutely. That's when I call for a revamp of who we give votes to, and
I mean, I've said that for a while. We know the MVP committee has been horrendous, where they'll take a solid QB over a fantastic position player.
I know this isn't what we wanted to talk about, but I'm glad you brought that up because I know he plays for Philly, but damn,
Saquon.
Yeah,
he should be the MVP.
Bro, watch. It's gonna go to
There's no doubt
Josh Allen or something like that, or it's gonna magically transport to some other quarterback that gets hot these next couple of weeks. It's gonna be a real shame, bro. Real shame.
All right, it's time for everyone's favorite segment, the Pick'ems. Ian, as you always do, update us on how we did.
Well, did last week even really happen? Because there's been no movement on the standings as we all finished with 7 wins.
7 out of 11?
So, wait, I'm sorry?
7 out of 11?
13, I think. So technically we were ahead of 500, but yeah, nobody took it by storm. So Rudy, back to
Thursday. We got the Bears and the Lions starting us off. Spread in that one is Bears plus 10. I'll say the Bears stay within 10.
Give me the Lions.
I will also say the Bears stay within 10.
All right. Moving on. Your Dallas Cowboys are hosting the New York Giants. Spread in that one is Giants plus 3.5. I'll take the Cowboys in that one.
Give me the Cowboys.
Yep.
Clean sweep for them boys. Moving on. We got the Dolphins and the Packers. Spread in that one is Dolphins plus 3.5. I will take the Dolphins.
Again, the weather report told me I know Tua say he's trying to right or wrong, but that's not going to happen this week. So give me the Pack.
I don't know why I'm hesitating on this one. I guess I'll go with Tua Tag No Swag.
All right. Moving on to Black Friday football. We've got the Raiders traveling to Kansas City to take on the Chiefs. Spread in that one is Raiders plus 12. I will go with the Raiders there.
Wow. We know Las Vegas is MO when it comes to KC. Give me the Raiders.
Yep.
Clean sweep in that one. Moving on to Sunday. We've got the Titans traveling to the nation's capital to take on the Commanders, where the spread in that one is Titans plus 5.5. I'll take the Titans there.
Give me the Commanders.
Yeah, I too will take the Washington football team.
All right, I'll gain one back there thanks to the male-loving Jesus Christ, Will Levis. I don't know what's going on with my brain right now. Moving on. The Chargers in Atlanta taking on the Falcons. Spread in that one is Atlanta plus 2. And I will take Atlanta plus 2.
Give me the Chargers.
Give me Harbaugh.
All right. Moving on. We got a divisional matchup here. The Steelers traveling to Cincinnati to take on the Bengals, where the spread is Steelers plus 3. I will take the Steelers in that one.
Give me Pittsburgh.
Yep.
Clean sweep. Moving on. We got the Colts traveling to Foxborough to take on the Patriots. Spread is currently plus 2.5 to the Patriots. I will take the Patriots in that one.
Give me the Colts.
Yeah, I'll take the Colts.
All right. Setting up for either a magnificent week or a horrible week for myself, but we'll see. The Texans are traveling to Jacksonville to take on the Jaguars. The spread in that one is Jacksonville +5. I will take the Texans though.
Give me the Texans.
Rudy, you said Texans?
I did, yeah.
Yeah, I guess so. Give me the Texans.
Alright, clean sweep there. Moving on. We got the Cardinals traveling to Minnesota to take on the Vikings, where the spread is currently Cardinals +3.5. I'll take the Vikings in it.
Give me the Cardinals.
I will take the Vikings.
Alright. Now we got the Seahawks traveling to New York, really New Jersey, taking on the Jets, where the spread is +2 to the Aaron Rodgers-led team in green. I'll take the Seahawks.
The Seattle Seahawks.
Yep. Seattle Seahawks.
Clean sweep. Moving on, we got a divisional matchup here. We got the Buccaneers traveling to Carolina, taking on the Panthers. Spread in that one is Carolina +6. I'll take the Bucs.
Give me Tampa Keith.
Tampa Keith is a mean team. I'll take them as well.
Clean sweep for the chef/baker. Moving on, we got LA, the Rams traveling to NOLA, the Saints.
What a stretch, my goodness. You thought you were just going to get away with that, Rudy? No, I'm sorry.
God. I'm a little delirious right now. The spread in that one is New Orleans +3. I'll take the Rams in that one.
Give me LA.
Give me the fighting Sean McVays.
Okay, clean sweep there. Moving on, we got the Battle of the Birds in Baltimore. Spread in that one is Eagles +3. I'll take Philly.
Give me Baltimore.
I will also take the Ravens.
All right. Moving on. We've got the Niners traveling to Buffalo to take on the Bills. Spread in that one is Niners +7. I will take Buffalo.
Buffalo it is.
What's up with what's his face? The quarterback.
Purdy.
Yeah.
He
His
hurt.
shoulder. Is his shoulder? I heard it was his shoulder though. Is it really bad?
I mean, bad enough not to play, but yeah, I don't think it's good. Like, the headline that I just pulled up, 49ers quarterback Brock Purdy's shoulder is concerning.
Oh.
Wow.
And 49ers Kyle Shanahan gives cryptic Brock Purdy injury update.
That's probably all he's done all season regarding any type of regarding all of his injured players. I'll take the Bills. Cryptic Kyle. That's his new nickname.
Alright, moving on. Our final matchup, Monday Night Football. We've got the fighting Jameis Winstons traveling to the Mile High City, taking on the Broncos. Spreading that one is Browns +5.5. I will take the Browns there.
Give me the Broncos.
I'm tempted to take the Browns as I'm hoping Jameis Winston outduels fake ass Bo. And this would be perfect on a primetime game like this. But Broncos in Mile High Stadium. Oh wait, it's in Cleveland?
No, it's in Denver.
Oh, okay. Well, in that case, that tips the scale. Give me the Broncos.
Alright, there could be so much ground to be made up, or I can absolutely bury myself, but we shall see. That'll conclude these pick'ems.
Anything else?
Nah.
Hey, yeah.